Hey dudes, it's Bree, and today we've got a double topic. I usually do art commentary and just art in general, so subscribe if that's what you like. I just got over a sickness recently, so I might sound a little bit weird, I'm not sure. But if you joined my live stream the other day, you probably know what I'm talking about. So apologies just in case, but let's get to the video. So recently there's been a drama with the art YouTuber LAVENDERTOWNE. You might know her especially if you're an artist on YouTube. She does a bunch of different art content, but this drama revolves around some has-been hotel redesigns that she made. And I'm not just going to talk about what's going on, but a lot of the comments that I've seen that are quite concerning to be coming from artists. The topic intrigued me, and apparently you guys were intrigued too because I got a lot of requests for it. And no, this is not about her recent video where she redid them. Luckily at the time the script was in the works, she uploaded her new one, so I'm able to inform you now. And I don't have that added in later, so please go support LAVENDERTOWNE and watch her new video. This was actually from an older version of that video that was made a couple days ago that she took down soon after its release, and she actually mentions this in her new video. The old video got loads of hate and a lot of brow-raising comments that I'll go over soon. Like, some of these comments stem from harmful and unrealistic mindsets that artists should not have, which could be draining. But first off, let's get a bit more into what exactly happened. So basically, LAVENDERTOWNE recently made a video called Do the Has-Been Haters Have a Point?, the internet's most controversial cartoon, which basically talked about the show Has-Been Hotel, which I'm pretty sure you could find out on Amazon Prime, I believe. And the show was made by VivziePop, who also made Helluva Boss. You may or may not know her. I feel like a lot of you will, either due to her art or the controversy around her. But anyway, LAVENDERTOWNE just discussed the hate in the character designs, while she critiqued the designs and redesigned them as if she was the character designer herself. She gave criticisms based off of her experience as a character designer, such as giving critiques like the characters blend too much in with the backgrounds and other things. She was pretty respectful and gave genuine criticisms when I usually see the classic, this effing sucks, when it comes to has-been hotel redesigns. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but I've seen so many like that. But even with that being said, I do think there was a major issue within this video which I'll get into. But first, let me give a small snippet of my opinions on redesigning characters. Honestly, I don't hate redesigning characters in some cases. I think as long as it's just for fun to imagine them how you draw them and design them, it's fine. Like for example, I've seen Has-Been Hotel fans redesign the characters in a more horror style, using their features, backstories, and what they're based off of to create horror designs. It was super cool. But the only redesigns I really do hate is if someone is doing it with ill intent and are trying to make theirs out to be the quote-unquote better one, or to fix someone's art. Which I honestly feel like I've seen a lot of redesigners do, which is just icky for me. And I feel like in those cases, it's just disrespectful to the original artists. Like the people who do redesigns to try and one-up the artist might as well just put their work under the label of fixing art, since that's what it comes off as. Mine's better, yours sucks, let me change them entirely to how I personally would think would be better. Like that's how it sounds. I hate when people deem their work as better, period. Art isn't some competition, it's entirely subjective. But the thing is, LAVENDERTOWNE wasn't trying to one-up VivziePop. She wasn't trying to be better, even if it might have seemed that way from the first glance of her video. She said it was simply for practice and that she wanted to go over some constructive critiques on the character designs with visuals. Her art wasn't quote-unquote fixed art, it was just a video made for fun showing her take on the redesigns. She showed her redesigns with her own constructive criticisms on Vivzie's show as someone who went to school for art and character design. She even said herself that it wasn't supposed to be a fixing. And looking at her old redesigns, if I'm being honest, I don't really like some of them, but holy crap, you guys are overreacting. No joke, this was the first time I saw Has-Been Hotel fans and haters come together like this was some Disney, we can get them if we work together level shit right here. Like, this girl was dragged so bad that the video isn't even public anymore and she had to make a whole new one. Which I must say, the new designs are so freaking cute. Like, again, go support her new video. It's very good that she's turning from her mistakes in research and what she deemed as artistic mistakes to create new designs. She took some of the actual constructive criticisms she's received and watched the show, as well as did some research outside of just watching the show. But you might be asking what I meant by mistakes in research. Well, Lavender revealed that she didn't know anything about the show really at the time of the original video, like going as far as to recolor fan art that she thought was official due to the lack of research. Which I will say that is a fault on her part that she didn't really do any research, but she did acknowledge and apologize for that, I should add that. When you're creating redesigns and critiquing a piece of media's designs, you should 100% be viewing, or at least be doing some research into what exactly you're critiquing. And I'm not saying to spend hours going through all of Viv's socials to gather every single aspect of the characters, but getting a small understanding of who you're redesigning can be very useful. And to be honest, that's probably what tore down the first designs themselves, because the criticisms were pretty solid for the most part, outside of the ones talking about the character's features that she didn't understand. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched this show either, but funny thing, I get so much of it on my For You page on TikTok. I know a lot about the show to the point where I basically watched it without watching it. Though since I haven't actually watched it, I won't be going into depth making my own critiques on Lavender designs like I've seen other people covering this do. I will only be going over other people's critiques who have watched the show, since that would be pretty hypocritical of me to criticize her designs as if I watched it when I didn't. A lot of Hazbin Hotel fans were mad at her for removing important features and not giving them the features that each characters were based off of, like Alistair's antlers being gone, and a lot of the critiques could have been traced back to the lack of research. And before you say, well, Brie, are you saying that she can't be criticized? No. Lavender Town should be openly allowing constructive criticism, considering that she too is critiquing. And she did allow constructive criticism, and actually used some of it for her new redesigns. What the problem is 1, the bullying, which a lot of people try to label as constructive criticism, and 2, the harmful comments that I'll be discussing later on. Constructive criticism is fine. Bullying isn't. You can have your opinions on her designs, but geez, let's try and give her some constructive criticism. Now we're going to slowly dive down into reason number 2, into some of the more bad mindsets. For starters, I must add, people, even her fans, switched up on Lavender so quick over one drawing. People who love or used to love her started joining on hate trains, not all of them, but quite a few. Not in a constructive criticism way either. Guys, she's human, she's not always going to be perfect, her art isn't always going to meet your standards. People are treating this one piece that they deem as bad as the unforgivable sin, when in actuality we have our ups and downs. Lavender admitted, hey, this isn't my best work, and I'm going to do better in the new one, which is a part of being an artist. I constantly see people saying, wow, she's downgraded, all because of the one piece that they saw. I constantly see people put their art content creators on this pedestal of perfection, and it sucks. Even just content creators in general, we aren't always going to please you. We have our ups and downs, and it's simply human. And no, I'm not talking about genuinely awful actions that should not be pushed aside as just human error. In those situations, they should be taken accountable for their actions. But I'm talking about maybe a video which just wasn't as interesting as last week's. Maybe the editing looks lazier than usual. Things like that, which almost everyone can end up doing at some point. Constantly see people treat content creators like they're inhuman, and to be honest, with the internet, a lot of people treat almost anyone they see on their screen as if they aren't human, and it's gross. That one YouTuber you watch is human. That one commenter you see under a post is human. I mean, unless, besides the obvious bots, of course. The point is, we're all human beings, and it sucks that we stop treating each other as such because we aren't face to face. What happened to treat each other how you want to be treated? There are so many comments saying stuff like, Lavender Town regressed in her art. Her art used to be good, but look at this.
But she went to art school for this, and it was all for nothing.
Is this the Lavender Town downfall? And so much more, all because of this video. One bad drawing doesn't mean you downgraded or regressed, it means you're human. Like I said, we have our ups and downs, we have bad days, and we have good days. In the pinned comment of that video, Lavender literally said it was because it was a rushed video. And in her new video, she even explained that it was due to personal reasons and that she was just having a rough patch. And even without that being said, it still could have been a bunch of different things. She could have been affected by art block but wanted to upload, she could have been tired, it could have been just a bad day. With or without context, instantly jumping to the conclusion of her suddenly just being horrible at character designing and art entirely over one piece is just dumb. Like, I'm not even joking with the amount of people who said that she went to school for art and character design for nothing. This all ties back to what I was saying before about the perfection mindset surrounding content creators, more specifically though, artists. I want to start speaking more generally now, but having every art piece be perfect is impossible. Everyone has made at least one mistake or one piece that they deem bad. You aren't always going to meet your standards, and that's perfectly fine. You aren't always going to please everyone with your art, and it's impossible, and that's also fine. We need to stop treating it as if it isn't. If an artist didn't make a single piece that they deemed as bad, I'd be concerned if they're human, to be honest. Like, what kind of superhuman tomfoolery is this? I wish I could make every piece perfect. And so what if a popular artist posts a piece that to you seems like it's lower quality, or even if the artist themselves uses lower quality? Wouldn't that honestly be a good thing? I don't know about you, but I think it's great when artists show off their art that they hate or deem as bad. I'm honestly sick of people treating artists like every piece that they make has to be perfect. I'm tired of seeing artists think that they have to be perfect, which is a hard mindset to get rid of, but it's so sad. Mistakes are part of being human. You can make mistakes in your art and that's okay. For the longest time, I had the urge to restart this entire channel so I could show off my better art instead of having my old pieces on display. But I kinda just stopped caring. So many people told me that they loved watching my progress as my videos went on. My new styles of drawing, rendering, all of it. And I've come to appreciate it too. It's just a way of looking at my own art journey, and this situation with Lavender Town is just a part of hers. Every piece is important and it shows how you developed over time. On screen, I'm hopefully going to show you some of my old drawings that I absolutely despise. Let's normalize artists showing off what they deem as their crappy works too. All artists can relate, and I think it's a great way to remind each other that it's perfectly normal to have quote-unquote bad works. And remember, what you might find as bad could be beautiful to another. Try looking at the works that you hate in that light. You might hate it, but someone out there might love it. And that's something I love about art. But anyway, outside of just the redesigning, you guys need to cut Lavender some slack and lay off the digressed and downfall of Lavendertown comments due to this singular piece. And I am again not saying that she shouldn't have been receiving constructive criticism, but saying her art in general is bad now because of this piece is just rude. I think perfection has ruined many artists and how they view their art and just art in general. I've spoken on how it affects artists a bit before, but I've also realized that it also takes effect on how we treat other artists, which is something that's talked about a lot less. While creating these expectations for ourselves, it seems that we create expectations for other artists as well. And when they don't meet our expectations, well, you kind of see what happens. How I've seen people treat Lavendertown is sad. And please remember that wanting perfection is normal and is a perfectly fine feeling to have. A lot of people like things to be neat and pretty, so don't beat yourself up over it. But it can get unhealthy, especially when you start to constantly worry about it. Don't overly push yourself or stress yourself out over being perfect. Mistakes and bad days are part of our everyday lives, like I've mentioned earlier. How will we learn and grow without them? In this case, Lavendertown made a mistake and worked to fix it, and her new video is great. Before you hate on yourself and your art when you make a mistake, remember to stop and identify what you did wrong. Remind yourself that your art isn't always going to meet your standards, and if you want, try again or try something new with that in mind. Learn to grow from your mistakes instead of using that as an opportunity to tear yourself down. Your next piece could be something beautiful, so don't quit so soon. And remember to give yourself some more love and credit. Art can be hard. Overall, while I do think that Lavendertown is a bit at fault for criticizing character designs that she didn't research about, I don't think the amount of hate that she received was okay. Constructive criticism is more effective, and she definitely took the constructive criticism that she received. I don't think that she's regressed or downgraded because of the singular piece. That's just silly. I just think that with these expectations people set for her, it made a simply bad received drawing seem worse than it actually was. And remember, it's okay to not have every art piece be a hit. That doesn't change how good of an artist you are. Also remember that you can have your opinions on the situation, redesigns and all of that, even comment them if you want, but let's be respectful. But I think that's where I'm going to pack it up. Here are today's brush coats. With that, make sure to check out Lavendertown's new video, and make sure to love your art, love others, and love yourselves. Bye!